This is the moment we've all been waiting for. This is the big series finale, or possibly just season 3 finale. Still not completely sure on that. For Marvel Spider-Man Maximum Venom. And boy, this was a crazy episode. It really was a good episode. I'd say it was about on par with last episode, where it's a good episode, but there's still things that are wrong with it. And I think overall, as a series finale, it works. It wraps up the storylines of these characters, but at the same time, there's still quite a few things that are missing from this that I would have liked to have seen, and that could have been explored in a season 4, but that's most likely not happening. But anyways, guys, we have a lot to talk about today in this episode, so let's just go ahead and get started with this full-on breakdown. So we start off the episode seeing that Spider-Man is helping out and teaming up with the Avengers to battle MODOK. And we actually get a pretty cool fight here. Spider-Man ends up being the one to defeat MODOK, so that was really cool. And he used his sciencey brains and all that stuff to defeat him. And at the end of that battle, Tony, aka Iron Man, suggests that Peter should actually join the Avengers. And that's kind of, sticking with Peter through the whole episode. Even though it's not brought up too much, by the end of the episode, you see that he has to make that choice. Because if he joins the Avengers, sure, that'd be awesome, but it'd be a big change in his life. And he'd have to pretty much leave everything else behind. So, while he's trying to, kind of brainstorm and figure out if he wants to do this, he's just hanging out with the boys, just chilling with Miles and Harry. And Miles is on his phone trying to locate his dad, while I think it was really cool how Harry referred to Peter possibly joining the Avengers as the Stark internship, because that's what it was called in Spider-Man Homecoming. How, whenever Peter ever went off to team up with Iron Man or just be Spider-Man in general, he would always call it the Stark internship. So I thought that was a really nice reference there. But then on his way home, Peter is walking down the side of the street, and he runs into MJ, and he mentions how he is looking for a date to the dance at Horizon. And MJ literally just volunteers, why don't you take me as your date? Wow. I wish it was that easy. Imagine that in real life. If I just walked up to a girl, said I wanted a girlfriend, she said, hey, why not me? Yes, that'd be awesome. But that's why this is a cartoon and not real world. But then we see Peter meet up with Max at Horizon, and because Max doesn't have a date for the dance, he's decided that he wants to unveil some sort of big invention that he's created, and this is the matter transfer. And we don't really have an idea of what it does at that point, but we find out more about that later. But in the meantime, we do see the Spider team suit up, other than Miles, because he's out looking for his dad, to go look for the lizard, because Grady thinks that he saw the lizard. But then it turns out it's actually Venom, and Venom is back, and then, we get a kind of a mini battle here, but he just teases that he has some sort of bigger plan, and then he just crawls off and hides somewhere else in Horizon. So then, they're on high alert, and they got the tracker set to alert them when Venom is close, but they're going on with the dance. And Grady, he really likes Gwen. We've seen that in the past couple episodes, a few teases and hints there that he has a crush on her. And I'm really surprised that he actually did it, but he did work up the courage to ask her to the dance. So good job, Grady. And he scored. So our couples for this dance are Peter and MJ, Gwen and Grady, and then Miles and Anya. Miles and Anya, I'm not sure if they're an actual couple or if they were just going as friends, but, minor details, those don't really matter too much. So, at the dance, everyone is having a great time. Max starts giving this speech and unveils the matter transfer portal, where you can basically transport anything or walk through a portal to anywhere, even alternate planets, and that's when it turns out it's actually Venom, not Max. And then I just think this was so funny because Max started turning into Venom, and I was like, oh wow, that's cool. Oh, it's the big scary Venom, he's here. And then Venom said, I'm not Max, I'm Maximum Venom! What? Maximum, okay. That's how you got the name Maximum Venom, because you were dressed up as Max? I just think that was just so cringy. And it was so funny and so stupid, but you know, I'm just gonna roll with it, because as stupid and funny that was, it was kind of cool, but also Maximum Venom. Alrighty then. So anyways, everyone basically runs away because, you know, big scary alien monsters. But Peter stays. He's like, oh, I'm gonna go help out everybody. And he does it in a very brave way, and clearly makes MJ more into him. So she gives him a kiss. So that definitely gives him the motivation to keep pushing forward and try and defeat Venom. And that is when Venom explains how he survived, because apparently a small piece of Venom survived and grew inside of Max this whole time. So this whole time, Venom has been inside of Max, and that's crazy to think about. But then he opens up the portal, and then that is when Scream, Scorn, and Mania all walk through. And up until this point, we were thinking, like, oh, Venom is the big leader of the symbiotes. But no. I mean, Scream literally beats up Venom and sends him to go prepare the World Killer. Like, no, Scream is in charge. Venom is working for them. So that was pretty crazy, but awesome at the same time. So then Spider-Man goes after Venom while the others, Miles, Anya, and Gwen, all battle the symbiote sisters. And during this battle with Venom, Venom summons the World Killer, aka the Clintar Dragon, and it's unleashed on Earth. So that's definitely not good. But meanwhile, we have MJ and Grady, who team up to try and get inside of Horizon, because both Peter and Gwen are missing. So they're like, oh no, we need to make sure our dates are safe. So they get in there and they find out that the symbiotes are after the Venom seed. So then they get the Venom seed. And then when Spider-Man comes back out of the portal, Grady gives Spidey the seed. But it turns out it's actually not Spider-Man. It's Scorn, who has the power to shapeshift. So then the dragon ends up swallowing the seed, I think. And then Spider-Man jumps in Venom. To basically remind Max that he is strong, he's brave, he's brilliant enough to break free of Venom. And then he does, and he uses Venom to destroy the seed, and all the symbiotes die. And that's pretty much the end of the symbiotes. Also, I think that looked pretty ridiculous, but at the same time really cool. How you had Venom's body, but just Max's head sticking out there. It looked weird, but it was probably cool for him. To have that strength and everything. So anyway, the symbiotes are dead. Venom's dead, Scream is dead, Scorn, Mania. So that's crazy. And in that moment where the symbiotes were being destroyed, we did kind of get a quick glimpse of, I think it was Scorn and Mania's hosts. So they did have hosts, as we saw in that Maximum Venom behind the scenes history of Venom thing that was released on the Marvel HQ YouTube channel. So that was really cool, just for a split second there. But now it's finally over. The symbiote invasion is over. The symbiotes are dead. But unfortunately, Horizon High is destroyed. But Max says, like, no, we're not going to rebuild. We're just going to find something new to do to, you know, bring in the smarts of people and all that stuff. So that was pretty crazy. And then we get an ending very similar to one of the past couple episodes with MJ and Peter in her driveway, because MJ says he owes her a dance. So they dance just right there in the driveway. And then this time Peter kisses her, but of course it's just on the cheek because this is a cartoon, so you can't go for the full-on make-out action here. But then Peter... he needs to make a decision about this whole Avengers thing. So he goes to Avengers Tower and tells Iron Man that he has a proposal. So then Peter has basically summoned all his friends. We got Miles, we got Anya, we got Gwen, we got Harry, and then even Grady is there as well. And then this is where he unveils that they're going to create a new tech laboratory, and Iron Man is going to fully fund it, and they're going to call it W.E.B, aka Worldwide Engineering Brigade. And that's pretty much where the episode ends. And so we got that ending there where they're gonna have this big, tech laboratory. So that's pretty cool. I think that makes a lot of sense. It wouldn't have made a lot of sense if he just went off and joined the Avengers. So I like the way this ended. But like I said, there are a few things in this episode that I wish would have happened. And this is kind of like a mini segment that we got going on here that I'm just going to call What Should Have Happened in this episode. So I got a list here. Number 1 being Aunt May appearance. You may not have noticed, but Aunt May was never in this episode at all. And that's crazy because Aunt May is like an essential Spider-Man character. You can't have Spider-Man without Aunt May. And she wasn't in the series finale. So that's just crazy. You could have had just one quick scene at the Parker house or whatever and just had her shown up. Like, it wouldn't have been that hard. Another character who should have shown up is the Lizard, because at the end of last episode, we saw that he ran off. Dr. Connors had turned into the Lizard permanently. And at the beginning of the episode, they were looking for the Lizard, but then it turned out to be Venom. But then they still never took down Lizard. So as far as we know, he's still out there and he's on the run. Another villain that's still out there is Swarm. Throughout this whole episode, they were still referencing that Miles' dad is Swarm, and Miles is looking for his dad. But nothing ever actually happened there. So Miles is still looking for his dad, and we don't really know what's going to happen there. Because there is no Season 4 coming. Then the final one is that MJ, Mary Jane, and Grady should have found out that Peter is Spider-Man, and Gwen is Ghost Spider, and Spider-Girl is Anya, and all that stuff. Because I thought they were setting that up. When MJ and Grady teamed up to go inside, I figured that would lead to them finding out. And then especially at the end, like, especially for Grady, he should specifically know, because now that he's in a part of this web thing, the Worldwide Engineering Brigade, literally he's the only one there that doesn't know about the whole Spider-Man thing. And I thought they were calling it Web because it's like a Spider-Man thing, but that's why Grady didn't get the joke, because he doesn't know about any of that. So would have made sense if that happened, because then you could have like a whole superhero operation going on there at Web. Maybe even Grady could have become a superhero if we got a Season 4. I feel like he would be something similar to Dr. Octopus, just because, he kind of looks the same as Otto Octavius, plus he's voiced by the same voice actor. So that's definitely something that could have happened if we got a Season 4. But unfortunately, that's not happening, at least as far as we know. But guys, that's pretty much it. That was the series finale of Marvel Spider-Man Maximum Venom. And yeah, so this is my last review for this. I mean, if we do get any updates, if there is a Season 4 or anything, I'll definitely make videos about it. But like I said, I doubt that it's going to happen. So at least for now, and most likely forever, this is my last video about Marvel Spider-Man Maximum Venom. I know it's sad, but it's true. So definitely stay tuned for more updates on the whole Marvel animation universe. It's probably going to get rebooted, but no matter what happens, I'll make videos on it. And also, I would really appreciate it if you would check out my other videos. I try to post at least one video on my channel every day. So definitely go check those out as well. But guys, let me know down in the comments below, what did you think about this episode of Marvel Spider-Man Maximum Venom? Did you think it was a fitting series finale? What would you have liked to have happened, and what was your favorite part? So, thank you guys so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and hit the subscribe button so I can keep you up to date on everything that goes on in the Marvel life.